Okay, ready? Can we start? Okay, so let's talk about events for a bit. What were you doing before events?
What was I doing before events?
You didn't always do events now. Did you used to plan events in secondary school?
Okay, so oh my god. So okay, first of all, secondary school, all that kind of time, I was like, if I said hyperactive, life of the party,
Did you get social prefect?
No, I didn't. I was very pained.
Who was not social than you?
I don't mind them. They gave it to their friends. They gave it, you know what they gave it to them? They gave it to their friends. Don't mind that those teachers. Anyway, yes. I was not social prefect, but I was pseudo social prefect. So I was supporting the social prefect, so yeah. But so I'd always be someone that was like that, I loved partying, I loved going to events. It was when I was now in university that I realized that I also loved helping my friends put their events together. But I didn't really know what it was. No, you don't know what something is called, but you just realize that when somebody says, oh, I want to do something, I'm like, okay, let me help you solve this. Let me help you get that. Let me help you do that. So those were the things I was doing. And then when I was in law school, of course, my friends were now about to get married after law school. And I said, let me help you. Because what I noticed during the period was that people were, planning events and they were very stressed out.
Oh.
So I just thought, let me help you take the stress off. I had energy. Let me help you use my energy to take the stress off. And that's kind of like how, I started. So before events, I studied law. I studied law. I studied law.
No, give me that gist. What is was it stressful?
Law was stressful.
Did somebody forced you to study law or you chose it yourself?
I chose because I just thought it was easy. You know when you just think, law, when they ask what do you want to study, I just thought, there's no maths here. You don't need maths to go to study law. Let me just take this course and go for them. But so I did it because then, of course, I wanted to study mass communication, but my parents thought it was not a professional course. So I had to pick one, and law was just, I thought, okay, I can't be a doctor, I can't be an engineer, I don't want to do this, I hate science. So I said, let me just pick law, and I did that. So, but when I was in university, I thought it was just the worst thing ever. I cried every time I had to write an exam. I cried a lot, yes. Because I just thought I was frustrated.
So that means you were already clear by university that you weren't going to.
No, I wasn't going to practice.
You already knew you weren't going to study law. Mm-hmm. So how did that lead you to events? Did you do anything in between before events?
So, after law school, of course, we had to go for NYSC. So during NYSC, when I was supposed to start my NYSC, I went just to please my parents and maybe just also to see if I could give law a chance. Maybe I was the one that was too quick to say, I can't do this, right? So I went to a law firm. And after 2 weeks, I left. Oh, yes. After 2 weeks, I said, I can't do this.
Why? What was it about it?
It was boring. Like, just go carry a book. I don't know. I just wasn't.
It wasn't working for you.
You have to read a lot. You have to really, and I wasn't just ready to do that. I just didn't want to do that. So
I understand.
Yeah. So I went to now work serving an advertising agency.
For real?
Yes.
Yeah, what people?
You remember I said I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I said, let me even see, maybe this advertising agency will give me what I always wanted from when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So but while I was there, my friends were now getting married. So I started helping them to plan the events. And that was how and then people were like, why don't you charge? My cousin specifically said, charge for this. You need to start charging. And that's how I started events.
How many years now?
21.
Oh, yes. 2 whole decades plus one.
Yes. So I should have said 2 decades ago.
Yes.
And more.
So dramatic. But oh my God, that's a long time. Mm-hmm. What has been what are core things you have noticed? First, how do you think it has changed? Or what new things are you doing now? Or what are the key things you've noticed in these 2 decades of your journey? I think that would be interesting to know.
Ooh, I think, when I sit down and I just look back and I'm thinking, this industry has really evolved.
Mm-hmm.
When we started, we were almost maybe just myself and one person, so I was a pioneer, right? And when you're a pioneer and you are, you have the first mover advantage, you see everything, you can almost direct the industry. So then things were not as advanced. We just it was more about just helping people take the stress. It was more about just having a good party. So there was good music, there was decoration, there was maybe just DJ, food. But now, it has evolved. Do you understand? So they are now in the event industry. You have lighting experts, production designers, set designers. You have
content creators,
exactly, wardrobe stylists. You have, everything. Almost like they took everything. Because I remember when I started, I almost did everything. So I was the wardrobe stylist for my bride. I was the Ashwebi concierge person for the bride. I would be the content creator for the bride.
That's a lot.
And then of course you're dealing with the parents, you're dealing with this. So there was everything. But what the industry has done now is it has broken those segments. And people are now owning each aspect of that segment and almost like being experts in it and creating niche. So I think that's one of the things I've seen really evolve in the industry. The industry has grown, and it's more. And also, when I started, it was not very recognized. It was not very respected. So it was more like, what are these little girls? What are these young boys and girls? What are they doing? Whatever. But just when people now started seeing the value that we're bringing to the table, so it was not just running an errand, it was not just you're creating an experience, you're managing families, you're managing corporate events, you're managing teams, you're dealing with resource management, skills management, all kinds of things. You're dealing with crisis management, and people were like, oh my God, this is like, you're a project manager, and even from there as a project management, of course, came up, things like that. So that journey has really, is something that I see that is so, when I look at the journey, I smile because I feel proud. That kind of thing.
It sounds intense.
Yes, I feel very proud. And then also knowing where we came from in Nigeria to see where we are now with our foreign counterparts, with the international community, because when we started, we almost seemed like we didn't even know anything. So we had to take a cue from them and learn. But right now, what we've done with the industry is, with the limited resources, with limited infrastructure, we've been able to create what to me, if they came here, they can't create because they have the infrastructure. So it's easy. So, and they have, of course, they have the luxury of, maybe I would say order. They have the luxury of structure. They have all that. So that's one of the things that we also
you don't even have to manage low quality problems. Like here, you'll be thinking, oh, generator backup.
Yeah, backup, exactly. So I always tell people that let's not look at ourselves as disadvantaged. Let's look at ourselves as this is our own positives. These are our own negatives. They have theirs. We both have ours. Yeah. So you know what? How are we going to not harness our positives? And how do we make sure that we learn and get things from them that would help us do that
better. Is really profound. It seems to be the theme of most of the conversations that are happening, because like on this Unbranded conversation, almost everyone I've spoken to is hammering on excellence, hammering on African excellence, Black excellence, that there is something that we have, but we don't look at those things that we have. I'm thinking about, when I talk to people in my community, I'm always telling them, don't underestimate what it is that you have and overestimate what other people have. Truly, there's something people ask you for help for, the things people look up to you for. What are those things? How can you make them better? Who planned your wedding? Who planned your wedding?
I planned it myself.
Was it stressful? How were you wedding planner and bride? I mean, I planned my wedding too, but
it was not stressful. It was okay. What I do, when you do, that's what you do normally. So it was just plug and play. I already knew what I wanted. I knew what I didn't want.
You already had the people that you needed. Do you remember when you made your first million?
When I made my I can't remember.
Hey God of millions.
Even when I see that, when people are asking that question online, I'm like, hey God, I cannot remember.
Has it been that long? Hey, I think we're ready for a reel on how to make consistent millions, because now we've gone from how to make your first million to like how to make a consistent millions. And, how did you start to be firm on your pricing? Because I know you charge top tier because you deliver top tier work as well. How did you start to feel confident enough to charge what it was that you felt you deserved?
What a question.
My questions are deeper. It's giving you. Oh my God, give me my high five. Hey, let's go.
So I think that it was I started even seeing the value. When you're doing something that is almost relatively new, you don't probably even see the value. You probably don't even know what you're bringing to the table. So I think when I started seeing the value, I started seeing how impactful the work we were doing. So when it came to even corporate events, when it came to weddings, when it came to social events, like when it came to any type of event, there was a difference. So there was a difference before we come into your event and after your event, and I'm thinking, and then even the feedback we got from clients on the difference we made. So I started realizing that this was real value worth giving. So that was, someone said, you know what, I think I can charge this. And that was one. Secondly, was also understanding that what we brought to the table was a lot of experience. So, when you're young, so in business, I always tell people that there are different levels in business. When you're starting out, you're not sure. So you are not sure how much you charge. You don't know. You get to the second level. So the second level is probably you're now like, oh, you've created a niche. You're a bit more comfortable. The third level is maybe you are now an authority. And then you get to that next level, you're almost like a consultant.
Yeah.
You can do this, you can do that. So I think that getting to that level, and for some people, it's taking me 20 something years. It will take someone 5 years. It will take someone 2 years. It will take someone 30 years. But the key thing is understanding the journey of each person. But at the time you recognize it, right? It is now putting that money vis-a-vis that value. So, yeah.
I know people used to ask me, when do you know it's the right time to charge? And I'm like, as soon as you know you can be held accountable to deliver the work in exchange for money, where you wouldn't take the money and not deliver the quality of work that you have promised based on that money. Because with business, it's always like you're making a promise to the client. And so if you don't fulfill that promise, that's when trust starts to get eroded. So I think that's really powerful. Before I ask you about friendship, I was also going to ask you, have you been in a situation where you had serious crisis with a client? Were you able to unfurl yourself from that, or were you able to sort it out and maintain that relationship? Have you had both experiences?
Yes, both.
Which one do you want to talk about?
Who hasn't? Both. In fact, many of them. So, so there was a time, and why I like to talk about this is just for people to understand that it's important in our work to recognize and understand the nuances of our work, right? The different stakeholders, right? And I think that one of the things that happened to me at this time, years and years ago, was that I didn't recognize the stakeholder. So I went in, thought I was just planning something, but there were many factors almost against us, almost like when people didn't really want you to succeed. And I didn't know. I didn't see it. And, so we went in blindly, we went in
trusting.
Yes, and there were just so many, and then it almost failed. It failed. This event almost failed in the sense that the event didn't go as well as I would have liked it to go because of the kind of events we planned. I also really did have good relationships with some members of the family, not all, some members of the family. And, and it seemed like we did a really terrible job, according to some people. But what made me come up, because even when I finished that event, I kind of thought I wasn't going to plan events anymore. I was that upset or depressed or sad or angry, all the emotions. But through that event as well, God is a God of redemption. Through that event, we also now got some of our biggest events, which I thought, God, how? We got some of our biggest events. Through that event, years later, we worked with that family again. And we did. The family they were so happy. So, but it seemed like it wasn't going to be repaired. Right? It just seemed like this could never be repaired.
Can you remember the exact things you did that helped with the repairing of that relationship?
I would say for that particular one, I didn't give up on the person that was not very happy with us. I didn't give up on trying to just say sorry.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, how it is, you see the person says, oh, go away. You messed up this event for us. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, there was a lot of miscommunication. What he thought would happen wasn't what happened, but sorry.
Took responsibility.
So sorry. Yeah, so sorry. So yeah, so that was that. And then in the end, even one day just said to me, I forgive you.
Oh, you must have been so persistent.
I was persistent too, because I was like, God, and of course, enter prayer room. Prayer, you go, just the fire prayer, they go. That kind of thing. So so that happened. There was another event as well. With this one, the client had wanted something that was unusual at the time. In events in Nigeria at that time, client wanted a three-course meal for an event that most of the people were traditionalists. So they were very posh, but the guests that were coming were very, I want my banga and starch. They wanted to do brunch with sholo. We did it now. That day, all the guests were angry. Most of the guests, oh my God, rubbish, they couldn't eat. So the client, maybe forgetting that they insisted on that, blamed us for it. And when that happened, I didn't go and say, but excuse me, ma. You're the one that said I wanted to eat beluge, belere, and all that kind of thing. So, but what I just did was, and I got inspired by another planner in America who said to us, one day I heard him speak when I went for one of my conferences in America, and he said, he had a client, because he deals with ultra luxury clients. Ultra, when I say ultra luxury, he had a client who was annoying, who stressed him out so much. But what he found out after the whole thing, the client was the one at fault. He just sent her flowers. So I just sent my client flowers. And she was like, and I just said, oh, we're so sorry. And after that, we planned 4 events in the family. After just saying, by just doing that. But there were some that we just did not, the relationship couldn't be repaired.
Yeah.
Right? Do you understand? I mean, it happens. So that, I think that also for me, what that also teaches me, and also what I use that to teach people is that you can't get it right all the time.
I agree.
You can't be all things to everyone. Some people are not going to like you. Some people are not going to think you did a great job. I mean, some people are just going to think, what's going on here? But some people, the people that this is, oh my God, thank you, Tosin. This is another thing my sister taught me before she passed away. She said, go to where you are celebrated.
Yes, where you're wanted.
Go to where you're wanted. Funke, stop trying to be everything to everybody. What's wrong with you? I can never forget it. I remember then, where I was with her, she was telling me this thing, and I was thinking, oh wow, Tosin, okay. So ever since then, I've tried to just be where I'm celebrated. So
God bless Tosin for us, because the one thing, every time people come to me, branding, communications, let's say one tip, is like, you need to know who your target audience is. And once you know who your target audience is, and you can segment and say, this is my customer within that audience, and those are the people who are willing and able to buy from you, right? It changes everything, because it means when people come and they're not willing or they're not able, you can easily refer them to someone else that you would empower, which you do a lot. So if you go to the places where I've been in scenarios where I would work with a client and the client would send me a spa voucher, put me in a luxury hotel, just like celebrate me for what did I do? To me, the thing I did was really simple, but to them it was such a big deal and it was life changing. So I really respect that she told you that, and I wish more people would know about it as well. It would totally change everything for you. And one other thing is, I used to be that person, as a service, when you give service, when you're in the service business, it can sometimes feel like your clients don't know what they want.
Yes.
But it's your job as an expert. It's not that they don't know what they want. They're struggling to articulate it.
Yes.
So it's your job to ask them the questions that would direct them in the direction to say, okay. And then sometimes they really don't even really know.
Yes.
But because you expose them to this small part, their eye will just open. They'll start asking for more and more and more. So it's also as though you are elevating your client's taste by just, showing them the way. So I really love that about you. And I'm happy that you do that and you live your values. I must say you do. I remember what I wanted to ask about friendship. It was about working with friends.
Okay.
Most people avoid working with their friends, but that doesn't seem to be the case for you. How are you able to maintain the boundaries?
I think it's understanding what we're coming to do, what we're bringing to the table.
Clarity on goals.
Yes. I like the way you always articulate the word.
It's my work.
So clarity on goals, exactly. And just understanding that this is what we're doing, and if you also try to mess up, so I mean, because of course we will, just calling each other and say, hey, you're not doing the right thing here. So I think that's it. Just that.
That's so cool. Let me ask you a question on behalf of vendors, because someone in my community had asked and said, what key things do you look out for in the vendor before you work with them?
Thank you for that very good question. This thing, when I say thank you for that very good question, my sister also taught me. She said, when you ask a question, you just say, thank you for that question. So, for vendors, I'm very big on reliability, flexibility. I don't like people that are very rigid. So, because anything can happen and things need to change. So, reliability, flexibility. also being good at what you do. So, of course, we talked about excellence. Just bringing your best foot to the table. I also don't really like vendors that are just about money. So, just about money. I'm just like, hey, what are you doing?
The value.
Do you understand? Hey, what's the value you're bringing? So I look out for that. I look out for what's also different about you, because I for example, someone that does maybe lines. I work with many people, but your own lighting company. So
you can find the best event that lighting style would be suited for.
Exactly. So, and then it also brings me to suitability. It's not every vendor that I can use for certain types of event. So do you fit into that event that we're looking for? So yes, some of those
communication is my own. Yeah. I find that when people aren't communicating, aren't transparent, like I don't mind if the world is burning or if everything is going wrong.
Tell me what's going on.
So we can plan. Let's move. Do you get? But some people don't know how to communicate. They freak out. They shrink. They disappear when shit hits the fan. And so I respect people who can communicate in the midst of the bad. I remember one driver that I had paid for a certain period of time to take me to my French lessons. He was in a ghastly accident. He took pictures. He sent it to me and said, "Oh, this is what I was in the middle of the accident." And I couldn't fathom. You are supposed to be thinking about yourself. You legit almost died. But in the midst of all the chaos, he was still giving updates and saying, this is what happened. This is where I am. And that just gave me the spirit to help him, right? It made it possible for me to feel like, I will help, don't worry, I'll figure this out. And it helped his process, like his recovery process and everything. So by communicating, you're helping the person plan, and you might even be creating opportunities for yourself as well. I really like that. What's a question that nobody has ever asked you that you wish you've been asked?
Oh God, I don't know.
Try. Think about it. What's something you always wanted to talk about, but people don't ask you about it?
What is it? Maybe, okay, I think maybe everybody just knows me with events. So it's almost like I'm kind of boxed there. So yeah, maybe something about what else do you want to do? What else? Jonathan.
But what else do you want to do? Because, funny enough, it was in my spirit to also ask you, like, do you have a dream beyond events? Like, is there something else that you feel, if I wasn't doing events, this is the other thing I would do. Even if I'm doing events and events has a life of its own, this is something else I would like to venture into.
Yeah. So one of the things that is interesting for me right now is technology.
Oh, yes, that's true. Because I remember the Textile events, we really talked about technology.
Yeah. So that's something that is very new for me. So just trying to create solutions for the event industry. Yes, it's event related, but I think from there'll be many more solutions. So that, also even just teaching. I like teaching.
I know.
I like that,
And you always create opportunity, because you always create opportunities and spaces where knowledge is being shared.
Yes, I love it. I think that one of my dreams is to have, an academy, just an academy for the event, just for the event industry.
How do we make that possible? What is the first step that needs to be taken?
You see, this is our execution. Execution, nice. Execution.
Yeah.
No. I think the first step. No, so we already have a school. We already have a school. So it's just how to translate and make it almost, I would say, bigger and wider. So yeah. So is now that's where also tech comes in for us. How do you use technology to make it more global, and things like that, and then more things. So yeah.
I can't wait to see. I totally cannot wait. What is one thing you want to achieve in 2024?
What is the one thing? What is the one thing? My goodness. Do you know that I've not really thought about the one thing? I've thought about many things. But I think maybe one thing would be to, some of my plans in the last 5 years, just to make sure that I get one of them done. There are many.
Consolidate. Oh wow. So I'm going to keep this video for you.
So that's why I said one. I'm not saying get all of them done.
Yeah, just one out of them.
Yeah, just one.
No, I'll keep this video for you. I'll remind you.
Yeah.
Like, remember this one thing. I'll call you in December.
Please.
No,
please.
Actually, I'll keep you accountable. I'm serious. I'm really serious.
Keep me.
Okay. Don't block me.
No, I won't. I love you now. I won't.
Oh my gosh. Is there a question you've always wanted to ask me?
Well, I think for you, I just think you're light, right? I just think you're so authentic. You're authentic, you're fun, So I don't know that there's any question. I think that what I would just maybe one day just come and sit at your feet and just get so much.
Oh, you have to feed me.
Yes,
you feed me like this, finish.
And yes, and then maybe your cats.
Yeah, unfortunately,
not.
I know one has gone. Let me give you one gist. So there was Lynx and Nala. So Nala went, but Lynx, we took Lynx to the same place where Nala was, and then Nala came from the ghetto, to be honest. So it was very easy for her to go back to the streets or back to anybody. She just immediately, she's also quick to accommodate anyone. But Lynx, that one we got him since he was a baby, and he's just been spoiled. So, not 10 stars for us parents, but, spoiled. And so when we took him to another place with Nala, he couldn't acclimatize. So he was so naughty, they sent him back.
So where is he now?
He's with us. But we're looking for families. So please, if you're out there, you're looking for a cat that is used to premium lifestyle and you're ready to spend money on the cat, please
come for it.
He's really kind, he's cuddly, he will sleep on the bed with you, all of that if you want. If you don't want him to be cuddly, he will also be fine. Am I doing a good job selling him like this? But please, it's for free, please. Right? You already spend the money. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming on this. I'm so glad that you said yes. I love every single interaction that we've always had, always dancing, always jovial. Of course, you have had times, of course, but you don't transfer the sadness that you're feeling to other people. And that's one thing I really, really love about you. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I wanted to really tell you thank you. Thank you so much for coming on our show. Oh, she does. What? Thank you so much.
Thank you.